car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Good evening and welcome to the ISCA Super Cup Series AutoZone 250 out of Richmond. It's me up in the booth, Jolo, as usual, with Big Al and Kobe down in the truck making it all happen. And we are bringing you the ISCA Super Cup Series live this week, Thursday night, as we go around 250 times. Richmond, the track of the week, the flavor of the day. And I was just here recently watching a race here. It was a mixed bag. A lot of green, but then a lot of yellow. So, what do you think, Big Al? How you feeling about Richmond?
It's in Virginia.
Yeah.
Yep. That's about all.
All day.
It's going to be a different one here tonight, Joe. I'm not quite sure how it's going to shake out. You know, looks like we got 11 cars in the field. Not a lot of cars. That might keep the cautions down. And that might lead to green flag racing, and that's something that drivers might not be akin to, especially at a racetrack like Richmond. So I think the longer runs are actually going to stump the chump.
Well, let's see. Yeah, it's going to be a battle of man versus self, I think, during a lot of this race. As you just pointed out, we're going to see potentially some long green flag stretches here as this crew of about 12 cars does get stretched out over the course here. We're taking a look at the situation. We've got lap 53 and 90 are where we're going to do the mandatory yellows here to break up the stages a little bit, and then we're going to go from 90 to 250 on the laps there. 6 sets of tires. 116 laps is the fuel range, so we're going to make it through that first stage pretty easily with what we got on the car. Air temp is 78. It's 82 on the track right now with a pretty stiff wind of 14 miles an hour, actually, out of the northeast. So we'll see if that changes anything for these guys. But that is the situation on the track and in the air at Richmond.
Yeah, nice cool track temp. That's going to get things heated up a lot of bit down on the track.
And we're looking, yep.
I don't know.
Well, we're looking at like you said, an interesting situation tonight. I think that if we want to talk about who's going to do what, we can segue right into our picks for the evening. How about that?
Yeah, sure. Let's go right on.
Let's do that. my pick for tonight, after looking at the race board where things are, Mark Sanchez. He's doing really good, sitting right behind Shane Parrish in practice for best time in practice right now. And I just got a good feeling about Mark Sanchez. So how about you, Big Al?
Man, I put it up on the board. I think I'm going to go with my lucky number 7, Sean Signor. You know, Sean was up here in the booth, and, you know, you can't pick a ringer. So I was like, well, I'll pick the second best thing to a ringer. Give me old Sean. That's who I'm going to go with. How about yourself,
Very good.
Who you picking down under?
This week, I think I'm going to go with my man Bacon. We all know he's fast, so let's see what he can do. Bring it home for me, please, Bacon.
Yes, indeed. A nice spread of cars there across the board as we watch practice continue. Pretty soon it will be over with, and then once it is, we'll be getting things going with qualifying, and we'll get eyes on that and see how some of these guys are doing around Richmond. So far, so good. I've seen a little bit of sliding during practice, but that's the place to do it. And so let's get into the keys to tonight's race as we go around Richmond. Why don't you take it away, Big Al, and tell us all about going around?
Man, it's going to be a tricky track to get around, and the first thing is you got to manage your throttle on the exit of the turn. This is one of those tracks where you got to go back to that egg underneath the throttle, if you will. You got to be gentle. You cannot stomp. If you stomp, you're going to go around. Next one. Prepare for the long run. What we were talking about here earlier, I think that tonight is going to be a long run race at Richmond just because of the size of the field. I don't think we're going to have a lot of caution, so that changes the dynamic quite a bit. So drivers are going to have to pay close attention to that. And last but not least, patience. You're going to have patience. You got to play the long game for the long run to be at this thing at the end of it. You're not going to be able to have the attrition, I think, that you would normally get. So drivers are going to be dependent upon themselves to make certain that they're available at the end of it, Joe. And those are the keys to the race. Kobe, one thing I want to say to you, I think you got it mixed up. You said, bring it home for me, Bacon. We say, bring home the bacon. Right?
That's true. Bring home the bacon, Bacon.
Bacon, bring home the bacon.
We got to do a little bit of finagling there to make that one work, but that is what we are all hoping here as practice wraps up and qualifying kicks into gear.
Yeah, qualifying here, I think it's a big deal, Joe, because that's what's going to determine track position, you know. So those first 3 positions are going to be hot. If you're planning on being in the show tonight, that's where you want to be. And you won't know that unless you actually go out there and put down a couple of hot laps.
You're right about that, sir. You are absolutely right. And here we go, where you got some people who are starting to put down some laps right now on the track. Shane Parrish, one of the first ones out. Gorgeous day in Richmond as well for a race. Love the look with the sun setting just a little bit. Let's see who we've got here on the track, setting down these times. The first few hot lap times are coming in any moment now. Ooh, watching Parrish here, a little bit of a slide out of him. as he rounds the belt through 3 and 4. We've got a few people, it looks like, who are choosing not to qualify tonight. Just going to see how the chips fall. Those names are, it looks like Derek Jacobs, Jay Haney, Paul Olson, David Gervais. Is it Gervais or Gervais?
Gervais.
Got it, Gervais. Very good, very good. That car right now, the 24, I believe, of Kenny Powell. Nope, we switch over to Bacon Zelenka now. Missing his teammate this week. I think we're going to be missing Mr. Crow for the next 2 weeks here, unfortunately.
Speaking of missing Mr. Crow, let's take a look at those points there.
That's a good idea. Let's see the championship board up on the wall here. Vincent Crow is up at the top of that board with Sean Signori right behind him. Bacon Zelenka in third. Kenny Powell sits in fourth with Randy Drumhiller in fifth. Mark Sanchez in sixth. Jay Haney in seventh. Greg Wyszynski in eighth. Jose Medina in ninth. And David Gervais rounding things out here in the 10-car field of who's who in the ISCA Super Cup Series.
Yeah, that's going to get tricky. It's going to be a good race here tonight, though. I got a feeling.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Very shortly here, we'll be taking a break for the anthem as qualifying gets wrapped up.
I don't have a track map, so that's going to keep me jacked up all night. We'll get through it, though. We'll get through it.
Heck yeah. All right. We're going to take a little break right now. We're going to play the anthem, and when we come back, it'll be time to race, folks, so don't go nowhere.
The night time is the right time. Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines.
Hey, we're back, folks, with the ISCA Super Cup Series. We've got the grid coming to you live and fresh because they are ready to get racing. So let's go ahead and break it down. It's going to be an 11-car field tonight. Shane Parrish starting things off in the number 1 spot with Mark Sanchez in number 2. Sean Signori in the 3rd position with Jay Collins 4th. Kenny Powell is going to be in 5th with Randy Drummuller in 6th. Bacon Zelenka is going to be 7th with Paul Olson 8th. Derek Jacobs is going to be 9th, and Jay Haney is 10th. Yup, I think I'll throw. You want to throw the last one in there, Big Al?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, David Gervais rounds thing out for the 11-car field. That's going to be it for who we've got going around here, folks. Those are your gladiators. Those are the combatants. And we've got the battlefield, we've got the occasion, we've got the setting sun. I think it's time for a war.
Let's get it.
Just waiting for a few cars to pop up on the field.
It's going to be a little bit of a boxing match there, but you got to watch out for that 66 of Shane Parrish. He's down here tonight and he is running for fun, but I guarantee you, he is going to be probably on top of the leaderboard for the most of this. Yes, he'd be what you would call a ringer. Be like if I were to come in race down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just knocking them all out of the park, huh?
Hey, look, that's why they want me up in the booth.
They got to make it even. They got to make it fair.
Got to give them a chance.
Save some victory for the rest of us.
That's what I tell myself too. I live in that fantasy world, where I'm actually that good.
I wish I could. No, I'm far too slow of a driver. I'll take the title of Captain Slow.
Yeah, I got you.
That just gives me the smoothest ride.
Yep, take all types, man.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll pull up some of these drivers here, maybe, and maybe the stage winner. Trying to figure out, what the biggest difference is going to be for our stages versus what's been going on in the A Opens this week. I hadn't actually talked to anybody. Have you talked to anyone? I mean, what's the A Opens been like this week? Have they been eventful?
Well, I did. I called NIS yesterday, and that was very eventful. It started off actually pretty well. And then they did about maybe 60, 70 laps of green. But then the yellows, they started to come out fast and furious. We ended the race probably about 8 yellows-ish, I think. We didn't have any green-white checkered, which was nice. But we did have some yellows. So it was an eventful race overall. And after interviewing some of the drivers, they were kind of, there were some different experiences. Some saying that, this is the new skin of Richmond, so it's got a lot more character to it, and that character leads to, like, we were seeing cars just sort of snap on the track, almost like they were hitting bumps. But the overall, it seems to be that. The new car package with the new scan of Richmond has led to a more characteristic, a new type of characteristic experience for Richmond, and that might be throwing a few people off here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. When you combine those two things, because that last update that we got on the tires, it really did. It was huge. So you couple that and the fact that we're racing on a good old short track like Richmond, which has always been a little bit unpredictable, if you will. I mean, this is not an easy track to just go. It takes a little bit to drive this track. You're not going to be able to go out there and get it just right. And one of the things, with the short field, it kind of works out, because when these guys come around that turn right there, coming off of 4 on the restarts, you have to kind of watch that. But I think we might be okay, because the back of the field are always just starting on a curve, and that makes a huge difference when they go to accelerate off. We don't usually start on turns.
Yeah, we don't, and it is being that the shape of the field is what it is. Seeing that restart on a turn always makes my gut drop out.
Yeah, but if everybody can make it through there, should be okay. I don't think we'll have an issue tonight. Lights off on the pace car.
Fingers crossed, as we're going to get stacked up here and get ready to go very soon. We got 1 to go here at Richmond as we get ready to go around 250 times. Folks, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for us if you haven't already. You're here on the YouTubes. Really nice to have you along for the ride. We still got plenty of ISCA racing coming to you live, so any little bit of support goes a long way. Coming down.
Indeed.
Yeah, coming down through the back stretch now. Here is the pace car leading things into 3 and 4. Leading things for the racers. It's Shane Parrish and Mark Sanchez on the first row. Two of them together now, looking for that restart zone. Let's look for the green flag, though. Hey, there it is. We are go here on the ISCA Super Cup Series.
Ooh, little blinking out front there. 2 times from the 7, once from the 66. Seems to be stabilizing, but that's definitely something that we'll keep in mind. Is the 29 of Sanchez. He's posting himself up. He is going to be high on the outside. Kenny Powell comes in a little bit hot, gets into the 7, backs back off. The 29 of Sanchez still going to be high. 24 Powell got nowhere to go, but he elects to stay low. But here comes Derek Jacobs to the outside. While this is going on, your leader, the 66 Shane Parrish, he is not looking back, Joe.
He's already gone. He's almost a full second ahead right now of Sean Signori. Sean himself is about a half second ahead of the pack. The pack is being led right now by Kenny Powell, who's getting chased down very quickly by Mark Sanchez down on the inside. Powell on the 24 on the inside as well, though, is going to go ahead and close things off a little bit as Sanchez falls back a little bit of a ways, and we are starting to get just a touch of that spread that we were talking about earlier. But these cars are still close enough for contention, so we're probably going to see a little bit of shuffling as things get started here at Richmond.
We're watching Mark Sanchez battling with Jay Collins. Collins secured the position. Sanchez is going to drop further back. Now he's going to be battling with Bacon, trying to keep the Bacon off his side. Sanchez had a very strong qualifying run, but doesn't seem like his race run is being as effective here. We'll continue to monitor that.
Eyes open for any situations as they start, but I think we are going to very quickly start to see, instead of situations forming, we're going to see maybe little groups forming, partnerships, or more than likely that spread again. As entropy takes over the field and all the cars move away from each other, we're going to start to see them all sort of spread out and find their spot on the field until we start getting some lap car traffic. I think that's going to be the name of the game for a while.
Jay Collins really all over the back of the 24 and went to go make his move, found himself brushed with that outside wall, took a nice little jaunt there that allowed the 24 to get the drive off. But now you're going to watch to see if Collins can actually regroup, mount a counterattack maybe, because, I mean, literally right there he was getting ready to just totally take over that 24 car and take over the third spot.
Oof. Yeah, and now he's back a ways enough. I think it must have really rattled him. The 24 now a little ahead. It was just a touch of wiggle coming out of 4, going across the line. But I think Kenny Powell is in a good position right now for where he's been running. He's running up further in the pack than he usually runs at this point in the race. This is something where we usually see him hug in the middle of the pack for a while. But in this short pack race, in this short track race, it's a little different to see him running up in the top 3 right now.
Definitely in good on him, man. He needs a solid finish. That's the one thing I keep saying about that 24 organization, man. They always run pretty decent mid-pack, but the finishing part, that's been the problem as of late. Kenny Powell definitely trying to shake that off as Jay Collins is now doing battle with the 29. You know, it's amazing how he went from actually being in the position to actually take the third spot from Powell, and now he's actually defending the 4th spot. As Mark Sanchez now has the inside for that dominant position. Collins going to wash up high. That car not handling it well at all since the last time he made contact with the wall. As you know, minuscule as it might have seemed. Sanchez getting a little tight right there.
Yeah, I'm noticing this rubber banding situation from Sanchez where he's going back and forth, just not quite able to hold on to a solid amount, like positive momentum. There we go. That's the positive momentum we were looking for out of Mark Sanchez as he pulls ahead of Collins here and takes that 4th spot.
Yeah, especially when you got guys all over you, like the situation that he had. Sanchez being pushed down to the inside. That 29 car did not like it. Got a little bit tight because he was actually being crunched. Now he can stretch his legs out just a little bit because Jay Collins preferring a higher line. I've been watching him compared to a lot of other drivers tonight in contrast, and he seems to be preferring a little bit of a higher line than a lot of the guys around him. As we watch David Gervais, he also just makes a little incidental contact with the wall.
Yeah, just saw that bounce, unfortunately. These drivers also are going to have the sun at their backs as they're coming through across the line, but then once they turn around and they get into the back stretch there, that sun's going to be right in their eyes as they're driving towards it. So there could be some
Austin might come out here as David Gervais in the 88 car. Sorry to cut you off, Joe. He totally lost it. I didn't know where he was
still losing it.
Honestly, yeah, not sure what's going on with that car.
Yeah, he's still losing it. I don't know what's going on either.
Yeah, watching it on your replay here, you'll see right here, kind of. And about that time, I was expecting the caution to come out, but nope, I didn't know how it was going to end. I just saw him careening that way. Very fortunate right there that the caution did not come out. Might not be as fortunate for the 88 cars. He's going to have to continue to battle that for, quite a few more laps here. As we're only lap 16. This stage is not over to 53.
Yeah, he's hobbled. He is definitely in a bad spot right now, and that's not going to be one he's going to be able to easily recover from as we do get into that situation where all these cars are now very spread out. We've got, half second here, half second there, but we've got full seconds between a lot of the cars.
Yeah,
and the gap from...
the distance from the leader back to Kenny Powell, who was in third, is just around 4 seconds.
Yeah. It's a really good gap there. And then if we go all the way back to David Gervais, who is in the 10th place spot right now. It looks like Paul Olsen didn't take the field, unfortunately. David Gervais is almost 12 seconds behind our leader of Shane Parrish. And when a lap right now is clocking in at about 20 seconds, that's about half a lap. So we've got cars now covering half the field by the time we've got to lap 19.
Yep, David Gervais now coming down pit road. He held it as long as he could, so now he will be the first car going what I think will be multiple laps down by the time it's said and done. Major contact with the wall. I can't imagine that's going to be anything other than fun.
Yeah. It's gonna rewrite the way you drive the car, and that's why he has to go do what he's doing right now, or else he's just writing himself off for the rest of the race until he goes and gets that thing fixed.
But yeah, green flag racing continues, and this is kind of what we were talking about. This is the long run. This is kind of where you didn't get the advantage of maybe having, because when you come to short tracks, you usually expect there to be cautions because the cars are kind of bunched up. You're not going to get that option tonight. So this is completely different. Now you get ready to come out for the first run. Definitely be able to get some tire data in, and that's what I think I'm going to be more interested in finding out is just how bad did they get through the first 53.
It's a good question. Yeah, how hard are they driving the tires during the first 53 laps will be a very important question as we look towards the latter 200 laps that are going to come after that 53. So it is just the beginning.
Indeed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once again, we'll check in with the lead, Shane Parrish, just putting on a course in how to drive Richmond right now. Second and a half ahead of our next closest person, Sean Signori.
Yeah, we were watching Jay Collins. Like I said, he was battling all the way up for that third spot from Kenny Powell. He made contact just a little bit with the wall, and ever since that, he has actually fallen all the way back to sixth spot now. And that has not taken a lot of time.
Not a lot at all, unfortunately, here. Just enough time for him to get, out of the draft from Bacon. Or he's got the draft from Bacon just enough that he might be able to save a little bit of tire compared to some of the other drivers here right now. As long as he doesn't try to make the pass. I mean, but it looks like he's trying to.
Yeah, he's not back up. Mounting the charge on the 45 again. It just means probably he's got himself gathered up a lot of bit. Now he's ready to come back and kind of throw his hat up in the ring. If drivers have been saving, though, Joe, this is about the time where the 7 gets into the 45 of Bacon. Bacon hard contact into the wall. No caution as of yet. We are still under green flag conditions. Not sure what took place right there. Sure, we're going to roll it back so you can see it again.
That was just an attempted murder.
You called it, and the 45 is twitching. So honestly, he's got quite a bit of damage.
Watch this. Yeah.
Was that net code?
No. I don't think so. At least from my perspective, he really tapped him good.
You sound like the VA, Joe.
Is that net code? No.
Was a very loud.
No, I don't want to. I don't assume anything malicious, but I do think that Jay Collins just about, danced a jig all over the back of Bacon Zelenka's car there.
I'll go with. I think it was more net code. I don't think
that's
Collins
fair.
would have
That's
just
fair.
arbitrarily gone out because that was savage. If he intended to do that, man, then
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Paint your car black.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that was too savage to be true.
Be a beast.
Yeah, that's beastly behavior. But woof, shake it off.
Yeah, indeed. Still watching.
We got to shake it off.
Sean was actually at a pretty. He had actually closed that gap pretty good. When it comes to the 66, but now that 66 is kind of spreading it out again, and I do think that the 7 is having a little bit of a blinking issue.
Oh, super bad right now.
He's blinking on my track map. That's how bad he's blinking.
Yeah, he might be getting the old hammer from my racing here pretty soon if he doesn't get this solidified.
That's not good. I'll be watching him until he disappears.
Yes, sir. And you know who's still on pit road? David Gervais.
Yeah, and Bacon doing everything he can to keep from coming down pit road. But that hard shot that he took, I'm going to guarantee you that car's definitely going to need some love here, probably under that next caution that we're waiting on.
Yes, sir.
To go before this stage is over.
Yep, just a little ways to go. We're going to 56, right?
53.
53, all right. We're at 35 right now. Not too bad, not too shabby.
No, and this is one of those long runs, so.
It's all right. We'll come up with a little game to play during some of these long green flag sessions.
No, I'm thinking about from the driver's perspective, like, what is this like? Because it's almost like you're on a ferry go around. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A ferry go around.
Oh yeah. A merry-go-round. We can call it a merry-go-round.
Yeah, merry-go-round. Because, you're racing the clock, really, and each lap you're trying to be consistent, but you're slowly watching your lap times get worse. And if you don't have somebody kind of right there to gauge your speed off of, it could be tricky. It could be a long night. It'll turn a short track into a super speedway. If you lose the draft at Talladega, that's kind of how it feels if you're riding around this place by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking, that's funny. I was just thinking earlier to myself, this place is like the longest short track I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It has a lot of the characteristics of a longer track, and but it behaves and it's shaped like a short track. It's got the D-shaped oval, but it manages to tighten all of that into 3/4 of a mile, and that's really an impressive thing that you can pull off. That you can get, the drama of a long race, even with a track that is shorter than any other long track that you would have to compare it to.
Indeed. Watching the 44 of Randy Drumhiller, he is slowly catching up to Jay Collins. This battle gonna be fifth spot. Drumhiller started all the way back in sixth spot, so he is currently just coming up one. Collins is started in fourth, so
yeah, so he's just down one from where he started. Drumhiller is riding right where he started, like you said, so he just needs to push a little bit. He needs to find a good spot, but I don't know if he's really on the I think he might be on the attack right now. It's kind of hard to tell if he's just settling in. No, he's on the attack. I think he's setting himself up to be able to dive into the turn here. Doesn't quite get it as the door gets closed. Collins is just a little bit too aware of what's going on there.
yeah, Derek Jacobs gone a lap down, and he is falling through the field at a pretty rapid rate. I mean, he's going to have to watch that, because if he doesn't, he's going to end up 2 laps down quickly.
Yeah, as we watch, the only other car that's down right now, David Gervais, who is down quite a lot, unfortunately. He's down about half the race as he is back on the field after taking a particularly bad hit to the outside wall, one that precipitated no yellow flag.
Randy Drumhiller got around Jay Collins right there, which allowed Jay Haney to throw his hat up, and it almost it is a 3-way battle right now, because you watch Haney right now, he is coming down to the inside of Jay Collins. He was just waiting in the wraps there, and as soon as that pass was over, he was right there to kind of jump right back on it. Collins, seeing what was going on, he tried to close the gap, making just a little bit of contact with the 44, letting the 19 know that he just wasn't welcome. But now the 19 is back on the inside now, and he is trying to seal the deal. Lap traffic ahead, though. Will it be done by the time they get to the 27 of Derek Jacobs? That's going to be the question. You make the call.
That's a good question, and we will be making the call here shortly, as it looks like Drumhiller is making his way up to the 27. Derek Jacobs is going to take the high line there. Drumhiller dives down to the inside, makes the pass nice and smooth. Here comes the 1. He makes the pass with the 19. Jacobs just lets them all go. Nothing doing.
You can definitely tell that Jay Haney is starting to lose his patience right there. He is really wanting to get around the 27 of Jay Collins, but just not happening.
Yeah, not quite.
Jay Collins, sorry. We'll figure it out. But that's allowing Randy Drumhiller to get the drive off. Randy going to have a good, solid points night here for this stage here, especially. Who wouldn't like a top 5 finish in a stage? Mark Sanchez also seems to be able to capitalize on that as well. And Kenny, man, if Kenny can actually continue doing what he's doing, if he can stay out of trouble, keep that car out of the wall, keep that car out of the trailer, they definitely will benefit from a solid night here as well.
And it looks like some of our lap traffic is mixing in with that top 5 here. Mark Sanchez, the number 4 car, is just a little ways ahead of David Gervais, who is the number 10 car in the field. He's running last right now, but he's holding things out in what would be the number 5 spot. So he's where Randy Drumhiller is going to have to catch up to and pass to make a challenge for the number 4 spot of Mark Sanchez. Lap 51 now for the cars in the lead. 2 more to go, or 3 more to go with NASCAR math, and then we're going to be seeing a yellow flag.
Gervais' car's fixed back out on the track. He's turning laps, so good for that team.
Yeah, you really love to see it. It's tough when you know you're going to be down that much, and you think to yourself, what's the point? What am I doing out here? But you never know. You never know who else is going to have a worse night, and a DNF is going to make you look worse than if you just finish the race.
Jay Haney now on the inside. He's going to be battling. This is going to be they're going to race to the finish line. 53. Haney actually gets by Collins, waiting on the caution to come out, because we have less than 10 cars, or right at 10 cars. The caution's probably delayed just a little bit. There it is. Caution's out. Stage 1 complete. Shane Parrish, your stage 1 winner.
Love to see it. Love to see it. And with that, we're going to take a little break, stretch our legs, folks. When we come back, stage 2, that short little sprint, which will lead us up to, I think, 90. And then from there, we're going to go to 250. So let's go here at Richmond.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hey, we're back with the ISCA Super Cup Series, and we've got the green flag for Stage 2. It's going to be 59 to 90, I believe, for where we get things broken up, where we get things broken up again here. And right now, we have our stage winner, Sean Parrish, leading things off. Shane Parrish, leading things off as we get things started on Stage 2. accidentally combined the names of our two leaders there. That's Shane Parrish and Sean Signori. Sean leading the pack right now, a little ways back as Shane takes a little bit of a blink. But Sean was blinking earlier. Looks like he's gotten some of his connection troubles down.
Yeah,
and the pack.
He seems to be steady as of late.
Yes, thankfully.
And as far as you mixing the names up, man, if I had a nickel for every time I chopped up somebody's name, I mean, it's brutal. So, I feel it.
Yeah, you've already walked this path.
Oh, we had a driver, Clayton Hoffman, and I don't know how many times I called him Clayton Powell. And everybody knows Clayton Hoffman, you know?
I remember Clayton Hoffman, yeah.
Not me. He's Clayton Powell. That's just wrong. But look at this now. Here we are. Pit times, that was the story. How much time did these guys spend behind the wall? Bacon's a length of 45.9 seconds. Longest pit stop out there. A lot of 14s, 2 13.9s, but that's the tail of the tape there on pit road.
Yeah,
you can see definitely had a lot of effect on how these guys came out back here into stage 2. Mark Sanchez put himself all the way back up in 4th spot. That's good. Randy Drumhiller about where he finished, and Haney puts himself in front of Colin. That's how we raced it out last time.
And the pack is still together here. We don't have the some of the bumps and bruises that got our pack spread out a little bit. So right now, Kenny Powell is leading a little crew of Mark Sanchez, Randy Drumhiller, Jay Haney, and Jake Hollins.
Yeah, and farther back from those guys there, you got the 88 and the 45 that are kind of running in the tandem. That's going to be David Gervais and Bacon Zelenka.
Yep.
Both of these guys
Bacon
having previously damaged vehicles. Kenny Powell getting passed up by the 29 of Mark Sanchez. Sanchez loose right there. That's that snap condition we talk about. He hugs the line on the apron. Going to come back around and hope he doesn't lose every position that he gained. Jay Collins is going to be coming up on him. Keeping Jay at bay. That's going to be his challenge right now.
Can he do it?
You saw that, Joe, just like that. He was going one way, then he was going another.
Yep. Someone he found the banana peel.
Yep.
There's been some behavior like that on this track, Big Al, over the last couple of times I've seen guys go around it, where they just seem to find something hidden on the track that when they're just biting off a little more than they can chew, boy, does it magnify it times 10. And they'll be turning left, all of a sudden they'll be turning right. You don't see a lot like it, but I've seen it happen here more times than has. I've seen it happen just enough times that it's a trend.
Yeah, and kudos to Sanchez for actually keeping that thing pointing in the right direction, because, we haven't had anybody get smashed up like that tonight. We've come close, knock on wood, but everybody's still running. This stage shorter than the last. It's going to actually fly by, I do believe, and then we're going to get into some serious conversation, Joe. Because I do believe,
yes, sir,
the way this thing's running right now, I think I can say it. I think we might have a possibility of having great pit stops.
Oh my goodness! Don't go tempting fate now, man.
You're gonna have to stick around to see, but I might be whipping some up for you.
All right. Well, it sounds like fate has been tempted here, and we'll see if we can get some of those out of stage 3. In the meantime, though, stage 2 is going to still crank all the way up to 90. I got eyes on Kenny Powell right now. He's getting chased down by Randy Drumhiller and Jay Haney. Haney is trying to make the pass on Drumhiller. Drumhiller just trying to keep up with Powell, who is doing a pretty good job, but I've seen some slippage, just a little bit here and there out of Powell. It looks like he's having a little bit of trouble driving through some of these corner exits, and that's what's costing him the overall dominance that he has been having so far. But he's still sitting in 3rd, which is where he was sitting for a lot of this race so far.
Yeah, he's doing everything that he needs to do. Just, don't do anything risky. Don't do anything stupid. Just kind of keep it pointed the right direction, keep it off the wall, and keep it out of the pits. And in their case tonight, don't put it on the trailer till everybody else is ready to go. Let's make that inspection, that post-race inspection. That's their goal.
Make it to the inspection, yeah. And so far, it looks like Powell is still holding off Drumheller. Ooh, actually, I spoke too soon. Drumheller with a great exit right there. Coming out of 4. He just has a little bit of trouble during the stretch. But when it comes to the entrances to 1 and 3, he's got a very, very good braking zone. It compresses his distance to Powell, but then on the back stretch and on the front stretch, he just loses a lot of that momentum. So it looks like maybe it's the corner exits that might be giving Drumheller a bit of trouble tonight.
You got to watch those exits. That's where you're going to lose a lot of that time. And like you said, if that's where you're struggling, that was even one of the keys to the race. We talked about it before we actually threw the flag on this thing, is Mark Sanchez doing everything he can now, because it seems that Jay Collins is painting his bumper right now. I mean, he was all over the back of him. Almost look like one of those tailors right there, Not the tailor that live next door to you, but the ones downtown at the fashion store.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, when you said the tailors, the first thing that came to my mind was Tim the Toolman Taylor.
I see. Yep. Not Tim and Jill. He's still
looking through.
He's holding it together out there. These guys, I think you can get a little bit more risky in this stage. You're gonna lose the tires anyway. I think this is where you can kind of push it hard, so you can actually make the adjustments that you needed to make from that first stage. Come out here, hit this one as hard as you can, so you can kind of simulate that tire wear. Because you're gonna want to know, are we gonna be able to make it to, what's gonna drive this stop? It's gonna be tires. It's gonna be fuel. And we say this all the time. You really want to be driven by fuel. You don't want to be driven by tires.
You want to hear a really nerdy analogy for a 3-stage race like this?
Sure.
All right. So this reminds me of this reminds me. I'm thinking maybe the space program, right?
Yes.
We used to go into space on the ICBMs.
Yep. Entered.
Well,
did we go to space on an ICBM?
Yeah, we did. Oh yeah. Okay. Every rocket used to launch an astronaut before the Saturn V rocket in the Apollo program was originally an ICBM designed to carry a nuclear payload.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy? What I was saying. Huh?
So at least we know it will make it to its target.
Exactly. Yeah, as long as you point it straight up, it'll make it to its target. If you were to point it sideways, it would definitely make it there. But if we point it straight up, it'll make it all the way to space in some cases here. But these 3-stage races kind of remind me of the 3 stages of trying to perfect space, getting to the moon. You start off trying to figure out in that first stage just how to get it right. What are the conditions? What are you doing here? What's the weather like? What's your setup like on the actual road right now? Then you got stage 2, which is perfecting that technology and saying, hey, let's really stretch it a little bit. Let's see what can be done. Just like you were saying, let's experiment in this second stage and see what the tire wear is really going to be like, or what it would be like to drive on bad tires in this situation. And then stage 3, actually getting to your goal, actually getting to the moon. You've got this long stretch, this huge journey that you got to take that's going to test you in every way that the first 2 stages tested you, but just times 10. And it's what makes for 3-stage racing like this actually really exciting to me.
I love it, Joe. That was a beautiful soliloquy right? I don't know. I felt like I could
Thank
say
you.
that word. Hope it fit right there that one time.
It fit pretty well.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the analogy. It worked out great. And
Awesome. Awesome.
I understand. I love how you took my simple idea and then like added rocket science to it.
Well, it reminded me of it immediately. I was just thinking about how we were, we were using science and trying to figure out how we were going to experience this thing that is really make it to the end, how we were going to make it to the end. And in that middle stage, it was all about just sort of experimenting with what setup you had and experimenting with the conditions. And yeah, I was a space camp counselor for a few months. So yeah. This kind of stuff gets stuck in your head, man. It gets stuck in your head forever.
Right here in Huntsville.
That's right. It was a good time, but yeah, this stuff will get stuck in your head forever. So you might hear a few more space analogies as the races go on here.
But you know what you did though? You made stage 3 fly by. It's just like that, man. We're 2 to go here in this stage before it's in the books.
That's right. Shane Parrish still out in front, leading things by 3 seconds. Then actually, that's going to be it. That's it. That's stage 2.
Premature.
Is that premature here? Are we early? I thought we were going to 90.
90. Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, I was off. You made me off.
No, it's all right. I was wondering too, but I think that we are good to go. That's going to be it for stage 2. Shane Parrish, once again, taking things and winning them in terms of the stage victories. Sean Signori in second. Kenny Powell making rounding out the 1, 2, 3. And we're going to stretch our legs yet again here, folks. Go refill our drinks. And when we come back, we're going to start stage 3. So don't go nowhere. Join us for more.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading
Hello, folks. We're back with the ISCA Super Cup Series, and you heard it right there. We are green, green, green. We are back with Stage 3 of tonight's race from Richmond, 250 laps. We are on lap 96 right now, so we are about to enter the 200 stretch. And that sounds like a lot, but the 200 and, excuse me, we're going to 250. We're about to enter the stretch here. Gotta do my math right. The 150 stretch, I think. Actually, the end stretch of tonight's race. And it sounds like a lot, but it's going to go pretty quick.
Yeah, big changes down on the racetrack as Sean Signori spent a significant time on pit road there. So a stop that actually cost him. I'm going to see. I just had it 16.3 seconds. Ultimately make him fall all the way back to 7th place. Now he is currently making his way back. We're showing him in 3rd. One more car to get by Kenny Powell, and then he'll be back on the chase for that leader. But man, yeah, when that whole thing started, the 66 parachute was gone. And then I was wondering, like, well, the guys, it was kind of a stack up, and it was all these guys behind him trying to get going. But the 7,
unfortunate there.
The 7, generally drag race. It was between those two. It was like a drag race going into 1, but that was not the case on this last restart.
No, not quite. Very, very close battle right now between the 29 and Mark Sanchez and Jay Haney right behind him. The Miller Lite car is putting the screws to Mark Sanchez. Really close, almost contact here as they make their way into the back stretch, or excuse me, into the front stretch and across the line. The two of them very close, battling it out for 6th place. Here comes Haney on the inside, looking for it with the 19. They're side by side in the backstretch. Boom! Wow, what a shot! Haney zooms forward as Sanchez hits the brakes just a little bit early, takes that spot from him.
Talking about extended pit stops, also Jay Collins finds himself a lap down after he spent 51.9 seconds behind the box. I'm assuming that some of that at least had to do with maybe speeding. There would have had to been a penalty on that. I don't think that was damage. So that another move that cost him dearly right there in that last caution.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got to think, those guys, I mean, they were racing for 3rd at one point.
Yeah, they were, and now they're back a little ways. These pit stops have been costly for some of these guys.
And those were done under yellow.
Oh, the 19!
In the grass. That's somewhere you don't want to be at Richmond.
Oh, he's back, and he's back and forth and fully around.
He's going to be pulling right back out about the time the leaders come around, keeps it below the yellow. Everything should be okay. That's going to cost him dearly, though.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to struggle to make that time back up. Hopefully, he'll be able to stay on the lead lap. Oh, no.
Oh!
There it is.
That might be a toe.
Yeah, that one's going to be a bite. And
here come the leaders.
Still no caution.
It's still no caution. Oh, he goes right down. He goes right down pit road.
Oh, the 88 Gervais also around on the racetrack. He also kind of spun right there. What's happening to us? The 27 of Jacobs is also off the pace.
Gonna go find out right now in the Wayback Machine. Yep. Here we go.
Jay Collins and
ooh.
Gervais. And that's odd because Gervais they're not even on the same lap.
No, they're not. Yeah.
Man. What a difference a couple of laps makes, eh?
No kidding.
Just like that, we have 6 cars left on the lead lap.
It has been a bit of a situation for a few of these guys out here, and those situations have left people down laps. Half the field now, almost half the field is on the lead lap. The other half is just playing catch-up.
Yeah, and I think those numbers are going to change dramatically, too, as the night continues to drift on, because ultimately you're going to have more and more cars that find themselves off the lead lap. And look, we've been very stingy on cautions here tonight. That flag has not come out. So if these guys are expecting any help from above, they might want to try different above. You know what I mean? You might want to try Randy, but want to try Jesus.
Yep. So you see whichever one works out for you.
Oh, Randy the flag man, don't look, he was taking bribes this week.
He's got to support the new wife somehow.
Yeah, usually slip this dude a 50 and, good jar of shine. You're good for at least a late race caution.
Well, we're not going to see any more cautions, it sounds like, unless somebody, manages to get into somebody else here. Right now, though, no one's getting into anybody, as we have most of the cars pretty spread out. With the battles that we had going on, have kind of cooled a little bit. It was there was a little bit of action here as Jake Collins was up towards Mark Sanchez a little bit. Mark Sanchez was up towards Jake Collins a little bit here, but the two of them now separated by just about a half a second.
Still kind of wanting to unpack that situation that occurred there between Gervais and Collins. These two guys were not even on the same lap, so I'm not sure why they were battling so hard.
Yeah, I'm wondering that too. Gervais been battling hard. He hasn't given up the hope of winning. He's racing as if he's on the lead lap all the time, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing when you're on a field with so few cars on it. You got to stay competitive. You got to stay fast. You got to try to get every lap you can chew back up, because every person's individual problems gets amplified in a situation like this. A small issue takes you out for a much longer time when these yellows don't come out. So his driving style could work out for him in the end.
Well, we'll have to see about that one, man. And another thing, I'm watching Sean Signore, and Sean is struggling to catch Powell. It seemed like in that first stage his car was leaps and bounds faster than the 24, but now it seems like Kenny is actually holding his own. And Signore has actually been in third place since we started the stage. You know what? That also might be wisdom. That might be Sean also saying, "Hey, look, I can't burn my tires up trying to chase Powell. I'll just sit here and kind of stay behind him, make up, 100 thousandths of a second here, or 0.3 of a second there, and then I'll reel him in versus just putting the hammer down and just burning your stuff up, trying to get him closer."
Yeah. Trying to see if there's any battles on the field worth discussing at the moment, but it looks like folks are pretty spread out at the moment. Jay Haney's still down pit road.
Everybody's doing exactly what they need to do. You know what I mean? Just get out there, follow the car in front of you. Don't make no sudden moves. Don't try to be a hero.
Yep, that's it. That's exactly where we're at. Everybody is very spread out. No sudden moves is probably the name of the game right now. The closest thing that we've got to combatants appears to be Sean Signore, who is closing the gap slowly but surely on Kenny Powell, who's sitting in second right now. Signore could get close enough to put the heat to the back of Powell and potentially make this pass, put Powell back into third place. We'll see here. Keep an eye on things as things go around. And we get it ready for lap 121 or 122.
And that's one thing, at this state, Paul, you don't fight that pass. You just let it go. If the guy rolls up on you, he catches you, you do not fight and defend. You just roll on, so that way you'll be there to fight and defend a little bit later on. Maybe this isn't the time for your car to be fast in the stage.
That's the way to look at it.
That's what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts? We're going to see what Powell thinks.
Well, my thoughts are that there's about 125 laps left in this race, and that's a good chunk. So if I was Kenny Powell, would I defend really hard right now as I'm about to get passed by Sean Signori? No, not really. Would I tuck in behind Sean Signori and try to use him to save tires, though, after he passed me? Yeah.
Well, that seems to be exactly what Kenny Powell elected to do. He's going to let the 7 roll on by.
Well, let's see if he follows the 7's line, though. It looks like Kenny's still sticking to his own line. Ooh, and that line involves the wall.
The high line. Yeah, that's what it was.
High line. Yes, indeed.
Watch your nose, Kenny. Dust and
Gotta
powder
send him-
flying everywhere.
Yeah, not pretty. Watching for other people to maybe take a slice out of that wall as they go around and cut through some of these corners here. We do have, like you said, about 6 cars on the lead lap. Everybody from Parrish to down to Sanchez.
And we're halfway through this thing, so the battle of attrition it's kind of been, that's a story in itself. No cautions, but a lot of damage. Jay Haney's still behind the wall, now being scored some 21 laps down. David Gervais, he's 17 laps down, but he's actually out on the racetrack right now trying to make up lost time, you know. And also Derek Jacobs 4 laps down, but yet he continues on, and Jay Collins finding himself a lap down by what I believe to be a penalty on that he was held for on pit wall. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, it's a fair estimate. It looks like Paul Olson has disconnected from the race entirely, unfortunately. That would have been our 11th driver, so now we have 10 drivers officially left in the race on the field here for your entertainment, being led by Shane Parrish.
I'm going to say, you know, it's rough, but I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to take my stab at it. With 122 laps to go, I'm going to say there's going to be 3 cars on the lead lap at the end of this thing.
I like that. I'll take that. Yeah, 3 cars sounds about right. Is it going to be the 3 we see right now? Parrish, Signori, and Powell.
That could be a pretty good combination right there. I mean, if you had a bucket of nickels and you was gonna go play something, I would take them. I would play them on them cars right there.
Roger that, roger that. I think the only person who might be in danger of losing the spot is Powell, because there is a chance that Zelenka puts 2 and 2 together here, gets up in close, or the Drumhiller, who has been driving rather aggressively at times, is able to close the gap on Zelenka, close the gap on Powell. That could all happen still yet, as we see here that Powell is only about, let's see, a second ahead of Zelenka, then about a second ahead of Drumhiller. This could all still happen. There is still time for that gap to change.
And I feel you. I really do. Yeah.
We'll see. Honestly, I think that Powell's doing an amazing job right now in his spot of 3rd place, holding on to the 2-place gain that he's got so far from where he started in 5th. So I really want to see him get that podium finish, but I think that he's just in the one spot where there's the most hungry drivers right behind him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if Bacon's car is handling as good as it has been. He had 31 seconds in the box on that last run, and you know, did he get all of his damage fixed, or did he come back out prematurely so he wouldn't lose that lap? Drumhiller Rainey has not had long pace. Love him like a play cousin, but he just has not had long run pace, in my opinion. I think he's kind of fallen off, maybe just a little bit more than everybody else. And Sanchez, man, the horse that he qualified on is not the horse that he's racing with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. There is a difference in the 2 cars when you're trying to qualify versus when you're racing a race. It doesn't seem like it at first, but you're driving 2 different cars there.
Just my opinion, and I get paid for my opinion.
It's a good one.
Other people can have opinions, and that's fine. But if you don't get paid for your opinion, well,
then you're not a professional.
I'm just being funny. That's all. I'm just fooling about. But yeah, long race going on here, and I'm watching this thing. We're already slipped 44 laps through here. Not sure if we even got a read on how many laps they estimate per tank. But I imagine.
Yeah.
Did we get that?
It was
info?
like 111. Yep. It was like 111, I think. It was on the conditions chart here. If we can pull it up on screen, Mr. Kobe Man, you might be able to see the estimate there. There it is, 116.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that's a one.
That's crazy.
That's a one fuel stop race, which is right. But I'm wondering how many guys are going to be able to make it on just that one stop.
With hard driving, that's going to be a tough question, man. I think that people are going to want to do it in two.
Yeah,
but
is that yeah?
I don't know. I think that doing it in two will just be for a tire thing, not for a gas thing.
I think so. I don't know, man. I think you run this run out as long as you possibly can. You get as close to that 116. You know, maybe split it. Some guys might, but in my opinion, you run it down and you keep that last jaunt 53 laps or less.
Yeah, that's probably a better strategy, to be honest. Got about 111 laps left, though.
That's why they call them strategies. So all that tells me is that from this point forward, they've got enough. They have enough fuel to make it to the end. So had they only stopped one time, they would actually be good on fuel.
Watching Randy Drumheller here. Sanchez did make the pass here. He passed Drumheller, made his way up into P5. Now he's got eyes on Bacon Zelenka, but that's another big gap right now. It's about $140 between the two of them.
I'm watching Randy's lap times. They really dropped off. Not sure if that last one had anything to do with the fact that he was being passed, but definitely going to watch the next one. And I think he has probably the greatest fall off of anybody on the track right now.
That's what's killer in these races is the fall off. You know, you were talking earlier about being what's going through the mind of a driver in this situation where they're just going around the merry-go-round, which I just realized was a portmanteau of Ferris wheel and merry-go-round. So now it makes perfect sense to me. So as they were going around the merry-go-round here, which I'm never going to stop saying, it made me think about fall off, because that's really the stat that these guys have got to be most focused on out of almost all the stats that they've got in front of them besides fuel distance is fall off. How many seconds, how many tenths am I losing per lap? How many hundredths am I losing per lap? And what is my average? Like, all of that math is so daunting in a race like this, and keeping it up and just trying to stay ahead of that fall off with your strategy is such a full-time job, even in a race where you're just mind-numbingly alone, like a lot of these drivers are right now.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was saying. You kind of find yourself in that conundrum where you're literally kind of racing the clock, you know, where, wow, what happened on that last lap, you know, and you try to get back to the lap time that you had before that. 27 Derek Jacobs makes contact with the wall. That's going to slow him down a little bit. Leader's going to come right in, no big deal. NBD, I don't know if we say that or not.
NBD, I like that.
Collins also still struggling. He's going to go another lap down. Two additional laps down. Now he finds himself 3 laps down.
Unfortunate.
That didn't take long, Joe. I mean,
no.
What a difference a stage makes, right?
Yeah. Just one stage has really cracked open this field and sprinkled them all over the place.
And I'm watching Collins, and he is driving like a man possessed. Not sure what his stint is. Maybe his tires are super duper fresh, and that's why he went another lap down. But he is burning through these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he just came out, actually. Collins' last pit lap was 1:43. And so that was only about 6 laps ago. So he just came back out. He's on freshies.
Yeah. Might want to hold on to those. As Bacon, Zelenka, and Derek Jacobs both come down pit road at this time. But those fresh tires might come in handy just in case there is a caution. You know, he stays out. He gets the wave around. You know, that's a big deal. Oh,
Yep.
wow, Derek. They're going to hold Derek for a while as he was speeding on pit road. That's going to compound the problems that he already has.
Bad boy, what you gonna do?
I'm going to sit on the pit road and wait for you.
Yes. I like that version better.
I mean, that's about what those are his plans for the next 40 seconds or so.
That's
Just
true.
chilling up the pit lane. Yeah, not going anywhere for a while.
Yep, nowhere fast. That's where Derek Jacobs is going. Unfortunate out here in the front. You know, Shane Parrish has been running a hell of a race so far, but after all this racing, he still is less than a second ahead of Sean Signori. Signori is refusing to give up this situation up here at the lead and is just saying to Parrish, you're not going to run off with this one. I'm going to sit here for the whole race and probably challenge you to close to the end of this race if you don't really put the pedal down.
And I think the difference between those guys is about, besides the fact about 2,000 I rating. Oops, did I say that out loud? But Parrish has been there, done that. So he's not going to go out there and you're not going to expect him to run the tires off of his car. You know what I mean? So he's not running from Sean. I think maybe he is just kind of allowing Sean to run a little harder to catch him, if that makes any sense. Yeah, because Sean had to drive pretty hard to get to where he's at. So what do? You kind of just drift back a little bit and you just put yourself there so that Sean says, oh, there he is, I can catch him. And then from that point on, well, you can fill in the blanks. And or at that point, he's chasing your shadow. Thus, his theory, his whole strategy goes out the window. That's what I think happens.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good read on the situation. Is what I mean.
Yeah, you want them to burn their stuff up, chasing you.
He's gonna burn it. I wonder. This is where I wish that you and I had insight into tire wear. Man, that'd be the one thing I wish the commentators could see is tire wear.
Yeah.
Like we would get so much information. It's like reading the tea leaves. You know, it's like looking into the past and into the future at the same time,
Well,
and just seeing what's coming. You know,
there is a way. The savant of Sean Signori, who is a friend of the booth. You like what I did there? He's a friend of the booth.
I like that. Yep, he is a friend of the booth.
Yep. He said that he would love to come up and talk to us. So I think once he actually makes his pit stop and gets back into his race rhythm, maybe we'll pull him up and say, hey, man, this tire, where's the story? What are the headlines here? Because that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting to see what the headlines are, especially from the guys that are down there doing the battle right now. You know,
I love that.
We knew what we thought they were coming into this thing, but now it's time to go to print, and we just want to make certain that we get the headlines right. Signor,
Yes, sir.
Collins gets into the back of the leader there. No matter how hard he got into the back of the leader, you know.
Uh-oh. We might have it a second time here. Let's see.
It was never a good scenario.
Ooh. He is driving fast. He wants to stay ahead of the situation, and he's going to try to make the pass here. Ooh. Maybe he'll get... Oh, he is really tucked in behind Parrish, using his brake, staying in the bubble just a little bit.
You guys definitely got to be making the 66 feel just a little unnerved. You know, because anything can happen, especially when you're racing a guy side by side. You know, the best drivers, especially on a track like this, he's going to kind of yield and let him go.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. If I was at 66 at this point, you're in, but you got a catch-22. Do you just give the space to the guy ahead of you here? Do you just give the space to him and let him make the pass, or do you worry about about Sean Signori behind you, who if you let this guy make the pass, you could end up giving room to Signori to close the gap. There's just a lot going on here for Parrish.
Unnerving thing for me when I drove a vet, Joe. I've had I had 3 Corvettes, but the thing that peeves you the most when you're cruising in a vet, it's the dude in the minivan.
Yeah.
And you look over and this dude, he's like, "Oh, I'm keeping up with you," and I'm like, "No, man, I'm just chilling." We're not the same. We're not racing.
We're not racing. Yeah.
I am not racing you. We're going to the same place, but we're going there different ways. And I think that is the best headline to sum up what took place right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Really good, really good read. Is that we're going somewhere. We're going different ways. Uh-oh. Derek Jacobs has been dropped from the race due to packet loss.
That's amazing.
He wasn't even on my list of people who was going to be dropped due to packet loss.
I mean,
unfortunate.
And it's just like the hits just keep coming because when you sit there and you watch the 7 car, who was absent the whole first stage, he was here half the time, and he doesn't get kicked. But then there's Derek.
Here's Derek.
That's what we call Derek's luck right there.
Yeah. Now he was serving a penalty for a little while, or he did have to serve a penalty, and he was down 20 laps, 25 laps. But still, he's not the fate that you want for someone who's trying to actually finish the race. Because if you're here to finish the race, you should be allowed to finish it. And unfortunately, it looks like the connection gods just weren't having it.
Yeah, I know, right? 81 laps to go in this thing, so I do believe it's definitely going to be a one-stop drop. Watching these drivers intently, as they're coming through with 80 on their equipment right now, this would actually be the halfway point for so many. And Joe, obviously, we saw that not make it, so that tells us that tire wear was a real thing. The guys that you said will possibly have to make 2 stops will still have to make those 2 stops.
Mm-hmm.
That's Zelenka, Collins, Gervais, and Haney. Oh, not Gervais. Gervais 78 laps on his.
Yep. Yes, sir.
David's run the full Monty. Now 78 laps to go, and here they come down pit road. 24, Kenny Powell, 29, Mark Sanchez. Expect to see Gervais coming soon as well.
Yeah, I can't believe Gervais hasn't come in yet when he's on lap 76 tires. When we're going to get Sean Signori after his pit stop, we got to remember to pull him up here into the booth, talk to him a little bit about how things have been going during the race, get that racer's perspective on things, see how things are.
Yeah, especially once he gets back up into his race groove. Because no doubt everyone's talking about tire wear. They're looking at their gauges. They're taking it in. Powell and Sanchez both go their respective laps down. The 7 Signori, he's on pit road now. Sean looking a little pale. Oh, I didn't want to say that.
Looking a little messy. Yep. All right. And the leader, Shane Parrish, also coming down now. The 66 looking for his spot. Got some big names on pit road right now, and we'll see how things go for everybody else.
Yep, Gervais also coming down. So, yeah, that's what I kind of expected was going to happen. These guys are kind of waiting until they know that they're only going to one-stop this thing. The only way I think you see these guys again is if there is a caution that were to come out. But other than that, yeah, they're going the whole way. As Powell gets by the 45 of Bacon, Zelenka. Now he's going to be trying to get his lap back. And he does. Putting everything back in perspective here.
Yep, starting to smooth things out as the pit stops are ending and everybody is back out on the track. We've got, everyone, including Gervais now, has finally gone in and gotten refreshed for the end of this race.
You know, and then I'm looking at the 45 of Bacon and you say, well, yeah, but Bacon's balling. I mean, he's had the fastest lap overall in the race with a 21.125. I mean, compared to Parrish's 21.173, that's 0.5 of a second faster.
Yes, sir.
You know? So, although his tires are slightly older there because he's got 31 laps on his tires, so I don't think he's going to make it the whole way, but he's definitely probably going to be praying for a caution. What do you think?
I think he is going to be. I think it's interesting that Bacon has got the fastest overall lap of the race, but this is the first couple of laps he's actually led of this race.
I understand, but that's what matters, right?
Yep. Hey, he's leading the race now until the end. That's all that matters.
Yeah, there's some guys that only lead one lap of the race, and they still win. So, I mean,
that's true.
However you got to call it, they're gonna make us run them all. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that the 66 doesn't catch.
I'm seeing the time between Shane Parrish and Bacon Zelenka get smaller and smaller and smaller.
He's running them down.
Shane Parrish is running him down like mad right now.
And the big thing on that is tires. I mean, Bacon having 34 laps on his equipment to Shane's 8.
Yeah.
You know, and just like that, I'm watching on my screen, I'm watching the 8 go by Jay Collins. And if you remember, Jay Collins also was a superstar not too long ago when he was driving by everybody like they're standing still. Now the roles have reversed. With 40 laps on his equipment, he does not look like he's having fun again.
No, sir. Kenny Powell makes the move, though, makes it up into 4th place.
Jay Haney back on the racetrack. After
That's
his
good to see.
Rather violent brush with the wall. Is that what we would call it?
Oh, brush with the wall. It's a good, generous way to describe it, I'd say.
An intense brush with the wall.
Yeah, very intense brush with the wall, but it's one that he was able to drive away from, at least enough to get it down the pit road and get things taken care of.
And Sean's still sitting behind the 66. Parrish not able to close the door. These guys are going to have Randy Drumhiller. He is going to be behind him. Randy finds himself a lap down, not actually able to climb out of the barrel just yet. But you can just believe those guys they're going to start to get desperate here as this thing roars on. So what's your biggest takeaway so far? Joe, we've been sitting here. You're the journalist. Well, you know, you're the lead play-by-play commentator, specialist, professionalist. What's your takeaway from this race so far?
My takeaway from this race so far is that if I was a racer in a small pack, short track race like Richmond, I'm all strategy. I need a good strategy going in. Ooh, watch this. Big pass right now from Shane Parrish, making his way past Bacon Zelenka for the lead, taking back what is rightfully his. And Sean Signori sailing past Zelenka like he's standing still. Here comes Drumhiller for a slice of that as well. But as we were saying, I'm all strategy. I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking, okay, we got green flags all the way. What am I going to do? What lap am I going to try to pit on? You know, how do I look ahead in this race to get the benefit? So I'm not just improvising and playing jazz at the end of the race when other people have actually thought ahead about what pieces they're trying to play. And that's really my takeaway here, is that the people who are going to be winning this race are people who have done some preliminary thinking about how to approach the situation that they're in.
Well, talk about approaching the situation. I mean, I love your perspective.
Oh, thank you.
But, and that's going to be a dang good article. But
Yeah, that's right. Front page.
Looks like Shondo is trying to write his own article, as he is kind of right behind the 66. You know, and this is going to get down to the point where is the 66 kind of, is he playing with him, or is Sean, you know, fast enough to hold his own?
That's a good question. I think that Shane is just driving his line, and I don't know. We might get a very good chance that we might be talking to Shane Parrish at some point tonight.
Yeah, 0.2 of a second separate these two guys on their last lap between the speed. So it's right there together. The 7 doing what he needs to do now. The laps before that, I'm not saying they were actually close, but right now they are. That's the tail of the tape. We're still watching these guys because we got to monitor their separation. As Jay Haney's doing battle with Jay Collins. Jay getting ready to go yet another lap down. He can't be too happy about that, Joe.
No, I don't think so. Oop, looks like Jay Collins is about to come into play here for Parrish and for Signori. Collins holding on to his line. Signori using this as an opportunity to tighten in with Parrish again. Man, this lap traffic is really giving Parrish, giving whoever is behind Parrish exactly what they want, which is, a moment of quick double checking, a moment of quick reading the person ahead of you. Is he going to stay to the high? Is he going to just drive his line? And all of that thinking is causing Parrish to slow down. And every time he does, what a benefit to people behind him.
Yeah, they got another fish to fry, and that's going to be the 19 of Jay Haney. Jay is definitely going to be, he's going to be there. I mean, he's a fast driver, so even if he goes high, they still have to set up to get around him. You know, one of the two is going to be affected.
Let's see if there's anything else going on in the field here. We're on lap 200. Got 50 laps to go. The field is looking pretty cool right now. Pretty cool.
Bacon on pit road.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why.
Well, he was with that group of guys that were going to turn this into a 2-stop event. Remember, we talked about those guys. David Gervais was going to be one of them.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here looking through the field. Jay Collins, and most of these guys have already kind of filtered through.
Oh, Bacon is already back out. He's going to hit the road. He took 4, and he's on his way.
But will he stay in front of the leaders? That's going to be the question. It's going to be
Here
a
come
race
the leaders right
here.
now. The answer is no.
Oh, he does.
Oh, he does. Wow.
He just completed a green flag pit stop, but he is still a lap down.
Now, yeah, he's still a lap down, unfortunately, but who was going to say? And Randy Drumhiller would be in the position for the lucky dog if we were to even get a yellow right now.
Yeah.
So Bacon is not really cooking. Not in the spot he wants to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys might have factored a caution in, and there's just no caution to be had here tonight. Everybody seems to be staying off of everybody, and the guys that did jump on somebody ended up in the dirt and the grass.
That's true. And what did you predict? You said there were going to be 3 guys on the lead lap by the end of this race. Well, right now there are 4.
Wow. Look at me.
Yes, sir. You just needed to give it some time, and you might even have your last one.
Yeah, it's going to marinate. Well, it's already marinating, and the 29 can definitely feel the presence of the leader. I will just say that. He knows he's back there. You know, it's the difference between Santa Claus and Jaws, right? You want to believe in one, but you know the other one's real. You know one of them's real.
That's a good way to put it. Yep.
And the likelihood of it being Santa Claus, that ain't the bet.
All right, let's see what happens here. Signoria is getting close, but not quite putting the screws to Parrish. I wonder if he's holding back a little bit.
No, I think Parrish is going to keep him right there. I mean, I've been watching their lap times, and Parrish he keeps it right around the same gap. So I think he's just kind of holding his own at this point.
And Parrish has a beautiful line, I got to say. It's picture perfect every time. He goes down to the exact same distance on the yellow line, holds it flawlessly, goes back up to the exact same amount of feet off the wall, holds it. Really just a clean driver right now. One of the cleanest I've ever seen.
And Joe? Heck, I can't remember what I was going to say.
That's all right, my friend. That happens to me a couple times a week. I've been there before. Just glad to have you along for the ride, my man.
Yep, doing everything he needs to do, man. And Sanchez is slowly coming onto their radar.
That's true. Mark Sanchez, my pick for tonight's race, is slowly coming onto the radar. He's got, he's got about 2.5 seconds to catch up to Kenny Powell, unfortunately. But, hey, you never know what could happen.
I think the leaders will catch him before he catches Powell, and that's going to be his biggest obstacle.
Yeah, you're probably right. Speaking of which, lap.
That's gonna be the sticky point, because once you get up there and you start coming around to that 4th place car, and you're battling him for, he's trying to stay on the lead lap. Yeah, now to the 1st and 2nd car, that's a lot more dynamic.
It's something that. Sorry, now my train of thought just ran out on me. I was trying to put together a response to that, and it just flew out of my head.
Man, it's okay.
Sorry about that, Big Al.
You're not the first person I left speechless yet.
You never cease to amaze, my friend.
They're bewildered and scratching their heads, but yeah, speechless. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, because I jump back and forth between so many windows while I'm doing this that sometimes I'm trying to put together something while I'm thinking about something else, and my brain just completely forgets about it. Ugh, that's okay though. That's okay. Probably something to do with how we're on 216 out of 250. So we've got less than
Very
40
good.
laps to go, somewhere in the 30s, 34 range.
And I just remember what I was going to say.
Mhm.
I was going to say, so Sanchez, his only saving grace, well, Jay Haney just passed Mark Sanchez.
Oh,
So that's problematic. That means that Sanchez is the next to come in contact with the leaders.
that's true. Sanchez.
And Austin's Parrish, is actually putting a little bit of distance between himself and Sean Signor.
Yeah, he managed to get it up to almost a second.
Yeah, I think he's just putting his foot down there and just going to do his thing.
That's all you can do sometimes.
Yeah, 32 laps to go. You just got to be yourself.
And so he is. Purely authentic.
Heck of a run tonight, though. Definitely heck of a race. Good run. A lot of drivers gonna find themselves coming into this a little bit too late, too late, as the regular season is wrapping up. Be time to talk about playoffs
Mm-hmm.
and rounds of how we advance each week. Yeah, that's what's happening. You excited, Joe?
For the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love we do like a points reset, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. I like it. I like it when the competition mixes things up a lot. That's one reason why I like how NASCAR playoffs work. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
And this season is not anything like it started. So, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Those guys are gone. Those guys are gone. Sorry. Little Big Al karaoke there for you. We're trying to bring it back
right.
slowly. Slowly trying to bring it back.
Slowly but surely. Here, check this out. 88's about to make the pass on Collins. There he goes. David Gervais passing up Collins. Gervais down still a couple laps from Collins, about 16. But he manages to make the pass here in overall relative place.
And you know, as I sit here, I'll be remiss if I didn't say that that's actually what caused Gervais' night to go down the drain. It was the last time he tried to pass Jay Collins. You remember he actually lost control of his car, and that sent him behind the wall, pit road, for quite a while.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Let's see who else we got out right now. Everybody else, pretty sure, is on the track right now, who needs to be on the track or who wants to be. Who's capable of being on the track. Unfortunately, Derek Jacobs and Paul Olson not able to do that right now anymore.
Run, Mark, run. That's the headline right here, right now.
Yeah, he's running from Parrish, right? He's right behind him, I think.
Yeah, because if you were just tuning in, you would think, oh, wow, Sanchez started this thing in second. Man, he's leading. No, man, Sanchez started this thing in second. He's getting ready to go a lap down.
Yeah, it's not pretty for him. Let's see. Can Sanchez keep the air off of Shane Parrish so that Parrish has nothing to work with?
How does he do that? I mean, no one else has been able to do it.
That's a good point. I don't think there is a way to really do it. Now that you mention it.
I mean, it's a brilliant concept. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a stage of the gazelle getting chased by the lion.
Yep, yes it is, and we can see every time the Lion crosses through the Gazelle's trail there, he gets a little bit closer. It's like a zigzag. Here comes the 66 now, trying to make the pass in the 29.
Yeah, just like that. My prophecy.
Pass made.
I'm good. 3 cars left on the lead lap.
There you go. Hey, not your wish, but your prediction. That's the word I'm thinking of. Your prediction came true.
Yeah, well, Powell better keep praying and hold his mouth right, because he's not out of the woods yet either.
That's true. Anything's possible. Could end up with 2 cars on the lead lap, or even 1 by the time this race is over. But speaking of which, we are less than 20 laps away from the end of tonight's race. What a marathon it's been so far. Oh, yoy, yoy.
Amen, indeed it has.
Very good race for these guys, these 11 angry men.
Jay Collins seems to be coming down pit road. Not sure what's going on with that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit late for that.
Might be putting it on the...
Oof. Black flag, too, for his efforts.
Oh, that's awesome. I just want to throw away another couple of laps.
You might as well at this point if you're Shane Parrish and you're that far ahead.
What? If you're Shane Parrish, you might as well do what?
Shane Parrish, what?
I missed what you said. You were saying you might as well. I thought you were saying if you were Shane Parrish, you might as well do. And that's the part.
Now I gotta think back. See, I don't know, man. I guess I'm a little bit shot today because I really remember what I was just saying. But I was saying if you're Shane Parrish at this point, you might as well look back a little bit and think about, you've only got 14 laps to go. You got to kind of just get into a point where you want to secure that legacy and not worry too much about lap cars.
Oh yeah, understood. Yeah, and I think that's what he's doing. I think he's just concentrating right now, trying to get this thing done. He knows exactly what he got to do it. He's already lapped everybody in the field with the exception of Kenny Powell and Sean Signore, so he's got that part figured out. 13 laps to go. This is just an easy ride to the house.
Let's see. Shane Parrish leading things still 2.5 seconds ahead of Sean Signore. Sean was we were talking to him a little bit earlier. He was as we were getting ready for the race. I think we're going to end up finishing out the race before we talk to him. Ooh, Signore takes a bite out of the apron, almost loses control of his car. Just dips the front left tire below the yellow line enough that the car starts to spin. What a recovery from Sean Signore.
Yeah, and the best thing about that is there's really no one within an arm's reach that can even capitalize on that. The only guy that could is not too far in front of Sean Signore, and that's Kenny Powell. So I guess if you're gonna step on it, that's about the best time to step on it right there.
I'd say so. And Signore right now, high on the outside, across through 1 and 2.
10 laps to go, Joe.
Ooh, all right. Starting to get the fizz. Those happy bubbles. Happy bubbles, that's hard to say. Those happy bubbles.
I like the tiny bubbles.
Scrubbing bubbles, like those.
No, not the scrubbing bubbles. The tiny bubbles that are in my beer.
Oh, tiny bubbles.
Those are the bubbles that make me happy as the 29 gets into the 45, and that's right in front of the 7. 7 back just in time to go wide and miss the mayhem But yeah, it almost got a little sporty there for what would have been fourth place.
Oof. Fourth place sportiness. I mean, I guess now is the time. We've done 240 laps. Now's the time to start duking it out a little bit as we're down to the last 8 laps. Excuse me, 7 laps.
Seven for 7, getting it done, putting her in the book. 66, having a strong night here tonight. Definitely putting on somewhat of a clinic, I would say, man. Glad to have Shane come down and play with the boys. Always good to see him. Sean gave it everything that he could. I mean, it was all on his bumper at least once. Bacon even got to lead a lap.
He did lead a lap. And then some bad situations befell him in stage 3. And he ended up 2 laps down, and that really cost him.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
And that is the way the cookie crumbleth, my friend. It's a great way to put it. Lap 247. Looking good. 4 laps to go. It's going to be Shane Parrish out in front right now with 5.5 seconds gap between him and Sean Signori. Between Sean Signori and Kenny Powell, it's a 15-second gap. So those cars right now that are stacked up are probably going to be your 1, 2, 3 finishers for tonight, folks. Let's go ahead and finish tonight's race and see how things wrap up. All right. I'm looking forward to hearing your takeaway on this race too, Big Al, after we do the interviews here. But right now, we're going to look for that white flag, which will be getting any moment now as Shane Parrish gets ready and goes around. And then it'll be 1 to go with the end of tonight's race. And this is going to be it, I believe, right here. That's it. The white flag is waving. We're going to go to the end of tonight's race. Shane Parrish into 1 and 2. Into the back stretch. Right now, he's tucked in behind a few drivers behind and right in front of him. That's Kenny Powell. That's Jay Haney. The two of them also a few laps down as almost everybody a few laps down here. Only our top 3 drivers on the top lap right now. And here comes Mr. Number 1 for the night, Mr. Gold Medal. That's going to be Shane Parrish around through 3 and 4, looking for the victory, looking for the line. And I think it's going to be all him, folks, as Shane Parrish wins it 250 laps in at Richmond Raceway. Oh, Parrish stopping at the line. Not bad, not bad. That's one more in the books for the ISCA Super Cup Series, won by Shane Parrish. And we'll give you the breakdown here of everybody very shortly after we watch Parrish break it down and write some cursive right there on the start-finish line.
Looking at the just his penmanship, man, the eloquence that in which he uses as the stylus, which would be the tires on the car that just go around in almost a perpetual motion, but somewhere it just kind of stopped half falsetto, but still full blown.
Well said, very well said. Very, very good breakdown of what we're seeing here with his skill on the track with writing his name in cursive there. All right, he pops out, and we are going to pop on screen tonight's finishing numbers. First things first, Shane Parrish. Second, Sean Signori. Third, Kenny Powell. Fourth, Bacon Zelenka. Fifth, Mark Sanchez. Sixth, Randy Drumhiller. Seventh, David Gervais. Eighth, Ray J. Collins. Ninth, Jay Haney. And 10th, Derek Jacobs. That was the whole field. We did not have Paul Olson didn't join us tonight for the race, so that was all 10 that we had on the field tonight, and what a race it was. Let's go ahead and give our drivers a few seconds to get up in here, and we'll be talking to a few of them right now. It looks like we've got Mr. Shane Parrish available, and I see Sean Signori and Kenny Powell as well. So let's see about getting Kenny Powell up in here, and then we will talk to him. What was that, Mr. Producer? I didn't quite hear you. Oh, let's take a little break first. Good, absolutely. We're going to take a little break. We're going to get everybody in order, and then we'll come back and we'll do some interviews. So how about that? Be right back, folks. Thanks for joining us for the race, and we got more interviews, so don't go anywhere.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Hey folks, we're back from the ISCA Super Cup Series. It's Thursday night, it's the post-race show, and we're going to interview a few drivers for you, get their perspective on how things were going around 250 laps of that virtual Richmond Raceway. So we're going to get things started with Kenny Powell here. Kenny, can you hear us up in the booth?
I got you, Joe.
Hey, looking good tonight. You were in a good position tonight. You started 5th, and then you ran 3rd for a lot of tonight's race, which usually we see you running about mid-pack, and then tonight you were running up in the front through 3 for pretty much the whole race. How did the race go from your point of view?
Kind of went as expected. Richmond and Iowa are two of my favorite tracks, and it's kind of redemption from Iowa because I spun early, but based on how things would have gone, I had the pace to be second there. And so coming into here, I was hopeful, and I didn't really care where I qualified. I knew I'd work myself up, I ran 3rd most of the time. I thought based on the first 2 runs that I might be able to have something for Sean. I knew I wasn't going to have anything for Shane, but Sean turned it up and got away from me. So can't be all sad about tonight. Pretty happy with that.
No, sir, you made it onto the podium. Who was giving you the most trouble during tonight's race? Was it Sean?
I don't think anybody out there was giving me trouble. It was just race the track. Don't make your own mistakes. I made a mistake or 2, but it didn't cost me tonight like it did at Iowa. So it was just keeping your head on and not making mistakes.
Yeah, I noticed the track was biting a couple of people there a little bit. Is this new track scan something that you've taken some time to get used to?
Yeah, it definitely threw me off. With the different paint on the walls, it changed my visual of where my lifting point was, turn in, and that kind of stuff. So that was a little bit to get used to. But by the end of the race, I feel like I finally found my groove.
Very good, very good. Was there anybody you want to thank or shout out to for tonight's performance?
My guys at G&G, thanks for all their help and support, and you guys up in the booth, Joe, Big Al, and Kobe down in the truck. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's our pleasure. Thank you, sir, and congratulations on that 3rd place finish. We'll be seeing you very soon here, hopefully on the podium next week.
All right, sounds good.
All right, take care, folks. That was Kenny Powell, 3rd place finisher in tonight's race. We're going to move things along, or I'm going to pass things over to my co-host, Big Al, who is going to be talking to Sean Signori here, the silver medalist and the 2nd place finisher in today's race. Go ahead and take it away, Big Al.
Hey, Sean, Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. Really, really excited for the opportunity to get to talk to you. I understand you're a busy man, and a lot went on down there tonight. You guys got a lot to unpack. But the first question I want to ask you, tires. How much of an impact did tires have on your race tonight?
Oh, for sure. They had probably the biggest impact of anything. It was really important to try to save them earlier in the run. You know, both first and second stage, I kind of burnt them up trying to get around the 66, and you know, for the third stage, I was able to keep him under me for most of the runs there, but he was just a little too quick, and you know, once you're in that dirty air, it kind of eats up those tires more. So it was actually probably the biggest factor in, you know, how the race went for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. You knew you had a tall order trying to keep the 66 kind of wrangled in, but the biggest question was going to be, you know, overall, and then I guess, so you're trying to keep the 66 wrangled in. So the second question is going to be overall, how did the lack of cautions affect your strategy?
Well, I kind of knew there wasn't going to be too many yellows with the short field, and the lack of cautions, it just kind of made the strategy easy for that last run. You know, you kind of just simply split it in half and tried to pit a lap before the 66, a lap or two, but just didn't work out. You know, that was probably my one chance to get in front of them and really make it work, but that was the end of it, really.
Yeah, you put yourself in a unique position coming out of the pits there for stage 3. Yeah, kind of had a little bit of a mountain to climb to get around. I think you put yourself back in 6th spot. Do you think, though, had you been able to come out clean, that maybe you would have had a little bit more for Shane?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was busy doing something on the pit stop, so it was needed, and I'm glad I really didn't lose any more spots. So, you know, I think I came out 4th or 5th, or I can't remember, but you know, it didn't take me too long to get around him. Kenny really didn't hold me up, and I got around Randy pretty quick, so I really don't think that had too big of an impact.
Yeah, and next week we're headed to a different track. I mean, we're out here in Richmond. Next week we're headed to Daytona. Bigger track, bigger expectations. You guys expecting to be on the podium again? Any predictions? What can we look for?
Well, Daytona is always interesting. You know, everybody has the speed to run up front, so it gets a little wild with some different guys up there that you're not used to racing side by side with and things like that. So it's going to make it quite the event, especially with kind of a shorter field. I always feel like shorter fields put on pretty good races at Daytona. So I think it'll come down to strategy and if we are able to keep it green, or if there's any unlucky yellows at one point.
All right, I'll be waiting on it. You think you're going to be on the podium there? What's your prediction on that? Come on.
I mean, I got maybe a couple more teammates than some of the other guys do. Vincent won't be there again, so I'll have to work with Bacon, and we all know how Bacon drives.
No, we don't. How's Bacon drive?
He's a wild one, if anything.
Okay. There's a country song or two written on stuff like that. All right, man. Before we let you go, who you shouting out here tonight for your second place finish overall?
I'm going to shout out Vincent for not showing up and allowing me to get second. Good for him. He's on vacation somewhere in Pennsylvania. Who goes to vacation in Pennsylvania, honestly? What's he going to do, go to a coal mine?
Well, maybe I don't know. Football season starting. I have no idea.
They'd shank him at a Yankees game.
Pennsylvania.
An Eagles game, sorry.
There's a good chance that somebody listening to this broadcast might be from Pennsylvania, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut up.
He would get beat up at an Eagles game, so just end it with that. You guys have a good night, okay?
Hey, you too, boss. Appreciate your time, man, and don't party too hard. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Thank you very much, Big Al. I'm going to go ahead and take things over, and we're going to talk to first places Shane Parrish. Shane, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Holy bleep! It's the Big Al.
Hey, what's going on, boss man?
I mean, I haven't talked to you for a long time, man. Just want to say hey.
Yeah, Big Al's up in here. We got you guys have a long history. Tell me about this. Now I got to know.
Yeah, I used to be in the league a couple years ago. I ran for a while and then just had a bad instance with somebody, and I got real busy personal life too, so I just backed out. And I did the same thing again. It was just my first race back for about 4 months now, 3-4 months, something like that. I've been off. Practiced a lot this week to get ready. Just been really busy building my truck and doing things and personal life and just trying to have fun too.
Good. Well, I hope that you've been enjoying your time so far racing. You've done a fantastic job tonight with this first place finish. You really dominated the first. You won all 3 stages, the first and second stage, and then there was sometimes though during that latter stages where I was wondering if maybe the lap traffic was kind of holding you back a little bit from the distance you were trying to build. How was the lap traffic treating you during tonight's race?
That traffic was fine. Everybody was very considerate. Thank you, everybody out there. They got out of the way, and unless they were trying to hold there at the end, and I wasn't trying to catch them guys or try to pass them. Both of them in front of me, I believe, had newer tires than me, so I was just wanting to stay where I was. Didn't want to get too anxious and get under somebody, and they spin and we have a wreck or anything, cause a caution. So just stayed where I was and was running my lap times. First stage, I came out, did real well. I thought, 15, I think it was about 15 to go. I'm like, I want to pick it up, just see what the car will do. Second stage, I just drove it way too hard. I wasn't driving it the way it needed to be driven. I didn't pay attention to what was going on. Feeling the car, and I burnt the tires almost 18% from right front to right rear towards the right front, which is not good. So I backed her up on the third stage and just ran my line and kept the pace between me and second, and if they caught up a little bit, that was fine. I knew, right then between 8 and 15, your car gets a lot faster, and that's where you have the tendency to burn the tires up here. So that's this one. I just let them catch up with me and held my pace.
Hey, it worked out perfectly. I've asked this question a little bit earlier tonight, but do you have any experience with the old Richmond? Is the new Richmond throwing you for any kind of loops at all?
Yeah, to me, it drives about the same. Pit road's just a little bit different, but that's not a big deal. It drives almost the same. I'm driving it almost exactly the way I was, except for middle of 3 and 4. I just have to brake a little bit more and keep that car down. But I'm driving it about the same that I was the last time I was here. In fact, the last time I was here, I think I won this race a couple years ago. So Richmond's one of my favorite tracks.
Awesome. Well, that's really great. Looking ahead a little bit, I think we're going to Daytona next week. How you feeling about that?
Crapshoot. But hey, Sean, if you need somebody to draft with or work with, I'll work with you. I don't have anybody to work with, so I'm more than happy to work with somebody. Daytona's Daytona. You're either going to get in the big one, you're going to get in a wreck, or you're not, and you'll be there towards the end. I think I've won one in how many years I've been on this service? Not great for me. I don't care for the Talladega Daytonas, to be honest with you. I don't like draft tracks like that. It's not the big for me. I don't practice much. I don't try to learn it because I just don't care for it, but I'll run it and have fun and be clean. But, if I can be there at the end and just get a top 10, I'll be happy.
All right. I like that. That's the way to do it, my friend. Anyone you want to shout out to or thank tonight for your performance?
No, thanks, Kenny, for letting me come back. That was awesome. I really enjoyed tonight and in this great league. And I also want to thank you guys up there in the booth. Haven't watched your broadcast yet, but, I'm going to take a look at it here in a little while. And when I sip on a little beer and toast to Big Al there on the 66 and have a little bit of fun tonight and just relax after this, Not racing for a while when I got to qualifying. Man, I just thought the shakes and heart was pounding like crazy. And beginning of the race, and, it's kind of crazy when you ain't been on for a while, not been driving. It really gets you pumping.
It does. It really does, my friend. I've been in the same boat, and when you get back in the saddle for the first time in a couple of months, boy, you remind yourself why you like to do it so much.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun out there. Sean did a great job driving, trying to catch me out there. It was a lot of fun that second stage, and I burned him up and he didn't, and we were just neck to tail there for 0.7 to 1.0 for the longest time in laps. So that was a lot of fun. I just had a good time all night tonight, and the caution free was really exciting, and I really enjoyed that.
We did it. We ran a nice, clean race tonight, and thanks in no small part to the skills of racers like yourself. And so I want to thank you also for your participation and getting back in the saddle and joining us here in the ISCA. Folks, that's Shane Parrish. your first place finisher for tonight's race. Shane, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you real soon, okay?
Okay. Thank you much. Just want to shout out to Ryko for the setup and my company Mars on the car.
All right. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you later.
Later on, guys. Thanks.
Folks, that's it for our interviews from tonight from the ISCA Super Cup Series. Big Al, how are you feeling?
Pumped up. That was awesome seeing Shane come back. You know, it just kind of, you know, when you get guys like that come back to the league, it's a little promise, it's a little hope. So, yeah, pretty pumped up. Can't believe that the tires held up as poor or as well as they did, but I'm glad that they were a factor. It just proves that the updates are doing what they're supposed to do, man. And thanks everybody for just tuning in, man. It's just been an awesome week.
I agree with everything that you just said, and I'm going to go ahead and throw my own spin on it too. Thank you everybody for watching very, very much. It's been such an exciting time. Richmond was a really exciting track, but you know we're going to one of my favorites next week. Pardon me. We're going to Daytona. So it doesn't get much better for drafting, and for that long one or the big one, we'll see what happens. But be sure to check iscaracing.com, folks, for more information about the ISCA, about the schedule we got going on. If you want to join the ISCA, we've got links there all over. Next week, it's going to be at Daytona International Speedway. So thank you again to Kenny Powell for keeping the lights on. Thank you, Big Al. Thank you, Kobe. And thank you, the viewer, for your support as we bring you the ISCA Super Cup Series. We will talk to you next time. Take care and have a great week. Good night.
I found the ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part. And really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, you know, maybe a little cleaner driving and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. You know, B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes. And I've been with the